Hey everyone, it's Kazo, and welcome back to my channel. We're still going through highlights from my Endwalker playthrough. And last time we arrived in the Unsundered world visiting the facility of Elpis. We've got more of that today. I don't think we're going to get out of Elpis today, but we will have a lot of fun along the way. So let's get to those highlights and I'll see you afterwards.
Oh. Different. You're different too. You and me. We're alike. Friends. I want to be... Wait. Please. Wait. Greetings and salutations. Can you hear me? Do not be alarmed. I mean you no harm. I wish only to hear your words, share your feelings, and know your thoughts. May we please be friends? May we please be friends?
Emmett Selk at your service. Do I have the honor of addressing Hermes, Chief Overseer of Elpis?
You do. You have traveled far for it.
Well, you certainly have her attention. Is she one of yours, Hermes?
Her name is Meteon. It means shooting star.
What's wrong, Hermes?
And the Mystoma is missing.
I may have found it. A creature with the self-same ether as those there, nestled in the boughs of a tree outside the grounds.
The fashion has been to imbue aquatic creatures with the power of flight, ever since the words of Metron created a sky-swimming fish. The Ambistomas too can fly, if only slightly, and they could conceivably climb a tree. Whether they can come down safely, however... Excuse me.
Did they just lore right why fish monsters float above the water for you to fight
I'll
them?
help too.
He's up in the tree.
We will be discussing highly sensitive affairs. Only a select few may be privy to such knowledge, and that does not include someone who cannot or will not divulge their origins. Let's hear them then, these reasons of yours. Who knows? If I deem your mysterious cause worthy, I may even be inclined to offer my assistance.
I do not object to his attendance.
Hermes, this is highly irregular.
Perhaps, but I believe he can be trusted. Meteon would not have taken to him so quickly otherwise. Moreover, the presence of a third party may help me to maintain composure. So, it's finally happened then.
Aye. Van Daniels declared his intention to step down and named you as his preferred successor.
No. What troubles me, what I struggle to come to terms with, is the very fact that Van Daniel is stepping down. Does this not mean that he will return to the Star?
Of his own volition, yes, like so many others have before him.
Return to the star? Does that mean die?
Well now, that's not a word I hear often. Is that what you say here in Elpis? To return to the star whence we came is a privilege afforded to we who have so loved and nurtured it. A choice embraced by those who have lived their lives to the fullest, in service to our world. And when they depart upon this journey, it is beautiful, always.
It's just... I cannot fathom why someone so great and wise, who could still do so much good, would want to end it all. Oh no, I've made her upset. Forgive me. I know I requested your presence. Might I trouble you to take Meteon outside? A change of scenery would do her good.
I am a little sad that they didn't just call this place Zeal, because that would have been great to make that reference, but you did have to time travel to get here, which is a Chrono Trigger reference in and of itself. Hermes gets sad when he thinks about death. When others are sad, I'm sad too. It's how I am, how he made me. Oh god, is she the keening, cause of the keening?
This place is Elpis. Those flowers. Elpis. Entelekis. Like me.
They are a product of Elpis, and so named for their birthplace. A happy accident, born of the hands of a former researcher who loved beautiful blossoms. Unique for how they change color, to reflect the emotional state of those nearby. Though be it here or elsewhere, they are seldom seen in any hue save purest white.
Reflect the emotional state, you say? By what means do they achieve this?
In creation, there exists an energy wholly apart from ether, one driven by emotions.
That's the information we need.
In like manner to how we manipulate ether, this flower is subject to the influence of said energy. While it has no will of its own, it is sensitive to the prevailing emotion in the vicinity, and reacts by altering its color and vibrancy.
Akasha? It is one of the unseen energies defined by Harnish alchemical theory. Though a gross oversimplification, some describe it as an essence influenced by feeling.
Akasha. Though I'm not familiar with the term, your description suggests it is the self-same energy. Dynamis, we call it.
Another
And
11th
those entities,
reference.
like the Elpis flower, that have the ability to interact with this energy, converting emotions into tangible phenomena,
Though it's used
are
elsewhere.
Entelekis.
Wait. A form of energy other than ether? Dynamis? I've never heard of such a thing. Intriguing. Then, given the limitations you described, why create Meteon?
Nay. I merely wish to create a being that could traverse the great expanse. The relative scarcity of ether beyond the bounds of this star was a concern. And so, I looked to another source of energy by necessity. My thanks for keeping Meteon company. Emmett Sulk and Hythlodaeus have already retired to their rooms. There is room for you too, if you would follow me.
Wait! I want to show you something first.
Elpis flowers?
Go on. You're not the only one, Hermes. Others feel sad too. You're not alone.
Creations that he deems useless are discarded with nary a second thought. Some scarcely born into the world, afforded a handful of breaths before life and potential are abruptly extinguished. We make an effort to spare them the pain, but they sense what awaits. Rage and anguish and cower and fear. And it is not beautiful. Yet no one cares. No one. So fixated are we upon the duty that we do not pause to question the method. Pain and suffering, confusion and despair, writ plain in the eyes of those poor creatures. Yet no one sees. We turn a blind eye and carry on in blissful ignorance. Nor to miss. And always, always the blossoms shine pure and white. A contradiction so blatant I could scream, want to scream. How can you all accept this aberration? Then I wonder, am I the aberration for thinking thus? And I am filled with dread. But now I know I'm not alone. Not the only one for whom the flowers weep. The stars in the heavens. Know you what they are? Though it is too far to tell, each glittering light could be a world not unlike Aetheris. A world filled with life. So many stars, so many lives. For us, there may be no higher purpose than to live for our world. But what of the other living beings out there? What is it that gives their lives meaning? That drives them day after day after day? To pose that question to our undiscovered cousins, I created beings of Dynamis, who can traverse the vast emptiness between the stars. Meteon and her sisters.
Well, well. An Arrayus. How delightful.
And what, pray tell, is that?
That's a shark, bro.
Ah, that's a new species of shark. We approved the concept but a few days ago. Sharks are among the most popular sea creatures. Rare is the day when someone does not submit a new concept. At first, they were largely orthodox, consideration given to such things as size and environmental impact, and then a whimsical someone thought to bestow it with flight, another superior intelligence. And then the floodgates burst, concepts with multiple heads, or arms and legs, and so on and so forth. It was getting absurd. A part of me wanted to tell them to go away and find something else to create, but in the end, I couldn't deny their passion. And here we are.
Stinian, what are you doing here?
That was too close. Are you unharmed? Well now, if it isn't a pair of familiar faces.
Banar, that we should meet you here.
As I mentioned earlier, the better part of the convocation holds that when we retire is when we return to the star. Well, she is not among said majority. Even after stepping down, she carries on with her work. Vanar is her name, and she is the previous Azem.
Really?
It has been a while, Hythlodaeus. You look well. Less so, Emmet Selk. I dare say the lines upon your brow have both deepened and doubled in number. A shame for one so young. You must make an effort to frown less often.
Easier said than done, thanks to your unruly successor.
How is he, if I may ask?
Incorrigible as ever. Rushed headlong into a volcano on the brink of eruption just the other day. I should be glad to share the tale in its entirety later, if you're so inclined.
Oh, you know I am. Now then, you are? I say, have you perchance come from the future? I do not believe we have ever met, yet I sense my magic upon you. Therefore, if I wove the enchantment, I could only have done so at a later point in time.
What manner of magic is this, if I may ask?
A traveler's ward, of course. It prevents the corruption of one's ether.
So we're just going to go and say it's the blessing that prevents tempering and not the echo.
Primals, you say? But I'm not familiar with such beings. But if they enthrall by warping the balance of ether, then yes, the magic would afford you a measure of protection. I gather from your question that you are not ignorant to its presence.
Hold on. From the future? That's absurd.
What is it? Are you unable to speak of the matter?
The reality to which you must return exists as a result of the final days. You cannot reshape the past to undo the tragedies of the present.
So, Your actions here will not change your history, but they may yet affect the course of ours. How very exciting. I'm quite fond of delving into the unknown, and there's naught more unknown than the future. Until a moment finally arrives, we cannot know for certain what will come to pass, regardless of our supposed foreknowledge, so you needn't worry for us. More importantly, that you should go to such great lengths as to travel unto the past bespeaks the gravity of your quest. Will you not reveal it to us? Mayhap we can be of aid to your cause.
If this is true, then you've been keeping quite the secret to yourself. As a representative of the Convocation, I will hear it all. Your identity, purpose, everything.
You know, I'm gonna laugh if we get a dungeon and it's these three for the trust. Which, if that's the case, I probably am gonna have to run the trust version. I don't like the inconsistency of what protects you from the echo, though. Because we've assumed it was the echo that did, because how else would the resonant transfer it? Unless we're able to also transfer the magics of Vana. Also that the crystals aren't actually the blessing of light, maybe. Oh, look at the little elementals.
Now then, will you tell us your tale?
Calamity called the final days has befallen the world.
Preposterous. Utterly preposterous.
While not the words I would have chosen, I too have my doubts. Much of it borders on the incredulous. What of you, Vana?
Not knowing the precise details of the first final days, it is difficult to determine the veracity of the tale. Supposing it is all true, I must ask myself why I would do what I did. Why would I feel I had no recourse but to oppose the 14 and create this Heidelin? Circumstances change, of course, but it would not have been an easy decision regardless. No, there must have been a reason. One compelling enough to force me to take such drastic measures. Then there is the Elpis flower, which I said would serve as a guide. That it's of import to your mission is plain. But your presence here leads me to believe that this place also holds significance. But what could it be? What are we meant to accomplish?
Might it not be simply thus? In the future whence he came, the final days could not be averted. Mankind has no choice but to flee the star. By alerting us to that eventuality, perhaps you wish to pave the way for other futures.
Theoretically speaking, it is a possibility. Yet if that were my primary objective, I see no reason to guide our friend to Elpis specifically. The capital and Amarot, or even my own home would be more logical destinations.
True, true. I note also that Hydaelyn did not specify a point in time to which he must return. By this, it may be inferred that it was not critical that we should meet.
Alternately, she had reason to believe that our paths would converge, coincidental though it may seem.
This is quite a puzzle, and we do not have all the pieces.
Hardly any, but we do have one immutable fact. If the final days are indeed as described, they will bring death to all that I hold dear. Yet despite being afforded long years of preparation, the only provisions I could make were for flight. Nay, my first and foremost endeavor would be to find a way to forestall the coming doom.
Given that even the 14 failed, mayhap you deemed it impossible.
Nothing is impossible. This I have always believed. And if Hydaelyn is indeed me, she would believe the same.
Listen to yourself. Are you seriously entertaining the notion that you are a messianic figure in some far-fetched tale? Well, I will not. I refuse to accept that our world could be undone by some unforeseen calamity. I also take offense to my portrayal as a megalomaniacal madman. To sacrifice oneself for the star is a noble act, and I would hold those who gave themselves to this zodiac in the highest esteem. Yet, you claim I recreated Amarot and populated it with phantoms of our people? A bizarre indulgence that would be insulting to their memory.
So you did it for a
Worse
reason.
still, I even invited you there. Literally invited my own downfall. Why would I do something so idiotic and inexplicable? Now, I will allow that the hypothetical task of restoring our world would be daunting in the extreme. The thought of having to bear such a burden for 1,000 lives horrifies me. But I would never forsake my duty. I would never forsake my brethren. You do not know me. I've had my fill of your fiction. I will return to my duty, and you will not bother me again.
Do the wave.
Elixir! Wait!
He should have waved.
You've seen much of Elpis already. If you have any observations to share, I should like to hear them.
Okay. So, if what Elidibus said was true, and he did see us here, that means this is part of his past. Part of Emmett's past. Part of Vinah's past. Which means that us telling them all this did not change what they did. So, does that mean Hades did what he did because we told him he would do it? Or that he needed to tell us something? Through the creation of Amarot, showing us the final days, cleansing us of the light, It's interesting. Well, kind of hope that's what the case is. So there you have it. Let me know what you thought of today's highlights in the comments below. And if you want to see more of these highlights as they come out every week, click that subscribe button so that they'll be in your feed right away. Otherwise, if you want to come and watch me while I play through games, I do have a link in the description below to my Twitch channel, as well as links to my social media and a link to my Discord channel if you want to be part of the daily community. With that said, we will see you guys next time. Take care.